Kui Road at 3.2 million in installments. We have successfully delivered 15 projects in the past. Now visit us to witness.
Wake up to exciting mornings every day. Active Jumatatu with Muhammad Obura. Tech Tuesday with Yusuf Farah. Wednesday, the special edition Business Chat with Ibtisam Jamal. All about your health on Healthy Thursdays with Mariam Wacharo. Aisha Khan with thorny pertinent issues every Friday on the Round Table. Fresh discussions, direct probe in Sabah Show, only on Horizontv.
On the next episode,
هل يحضر الشيطان عند الموت؟ Shetani kweli huhudhuria wakati wa mtu kufa, mtu katika sakaratul maut. Shetani huhudhuria? Faqala na'am. Huyu Sheikh akasema ndio. Akhiru fursatin lilshaytan lilighwa'i huna. Fursa yake ya mwisho ya shetani kwenye kupotosha ni hapa.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban. You are watching the Sabah Show. Keep it locked right here on Horizon TV.
رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي عمري ويحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, creator and sustainer of the earth and everything that's in it. Good morning to you wherever you're watching us from. You are right on time for your daily dose of the Sabah Show. And here is your inspiration for the day. When we wake up, life gives us an equal opportunity to be well, to do well, and most importantly, to put a smile on someone's face, as this is Sadaqah. I'm your host, Yusuf Farah, coming to you live from our HQs here in Nairobi at the Jamia Mosque, and this is the Sabah Show. Journey with me for the next 2 hours as I take you through the through the newspaper review with my panel on set, and after that, Tech Tuesday begins. Now, over to my guest in studio with me. I have Lucky Trevor, who is the JKUAT political strategist, and I have Abdiaziz Boru, who is the global peace chain. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
How are you?
We are good.
You're well?
Yes.
All right, let's get right into it, shall we?
Yes.
And we will start off with the Daily Nation, and we're starting in the corridors of politics. And the Daily Nation headline reads, Uhuru caught up in Raila Ruto battle for Kibra. And it says, fears that Jubilee's move to field candidate and campaign for him in the by-election will threaten the handshake between president and ODM leader. Let's start with you, Abdiaziz.
Yeah. First, as we all know, there's a lot of interest in Kibra by-election, because as we see in the Jubilee part shown interest. So there's that handshake which brought the Raila and Uhuru together, and there's that interest for the deputy president that he wants to win the by-election so that he shows his mighty for the 2022 election. So there's that contest between the Raila and Uhuru and Ruto part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they right to bring in the president between all these wrangles?
As much as they want to hold the handshake together and bring everybody on board, there's also that political interest for both those people who want to be in the next government in 2022. That's Raila Odinga and Ruto. So there's that contest for both of them. But Uhuru also has some interest. We don't know. But we will see as time goes by. We'll see what will going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trevor?
Okay, according to me, this is a nation of democracy. And what is happening actually in Kibera, in terms of these parties like Jubilee and ODM, that's what we call democracy, because we all know that the late Honorable Ken Okoth was a ODM candidate. But that does not mean that this other party should not field their candidate. We have seen the NSC, Musalia Mudavadi has a candidate. We have seen even Moses Wetangula. Now the Jubilee, they have also a candidate. So I think it's right for them, because it shows the democracy that we have. But again, in the background or behind the scene, there are so many things that we don't know. For Jubilee, there are two games being played. There is the Uhuru part, and then there is the Ruto part. You understand? But again, if we say it killing the spirit of handshake, I don't think if that's the case, because at the end of the day, these are political parties. The handshake cannot kill the story of the democracy, because at the end of the day we have to practice it. And that's why you see there are so many people who have come out trying to show interest in that Kibra seat. We have seen the likes of Chris Darling, we have seen the likes of Mariga. Who knew Mariga will be a Jubilee candidate? So it's so interesting, it's so interesting.
But like it says, the deputy president who said to be behind McDonald Mariga's candidature in the by-election would wish to see his boss, that is the president, join the campaign caravan. Would it be right for the president to join the campaign caravan, in your opinion?
Okay, in my opinion at the moment, I don't think it's right for the president himself to take part in it. Okay, like publicly, like going to the streets, you understand?
Yeah.
Right now he is the president. There are so many big projects. In my own opinion, I think he has to focus other than for the by-election. You see, Jubilee is a big party. Jubilee has a big structure, so it doesn't need to be him on the ground. You understand? Ruto is good for that. Ruto can do that, and these other Jubilee members. But for the president, I think for the spirit of respecting that presidency, I think for the president, he has to focus with other things actually.
Okay, now let's move on to the Standard, and the Standard reads, secret plot to force teachers into polls. Now, after the contested oust of Wilson Sossion, two top NAT officials are now fighting for their jobs as TSC leaders says that they should have retired. I'll go directly to you, Lucky Trevor, because you had an opinion about this before we started the show.
Yeah, you see, this story about to force teachers into polls. Okay, let us face the reality. Actually, this whole story, it's out here because of NAT. And NAT, you understand, NAT is under attack. The teachers are under attack because of Sossion. You understand? So first, Sosion has brought a lot of confusion. Let me just say that publicly. Sosion, I think, is the problem of all this. Sosion is everything. I think when we remove Sosion from that union, I think everything will be at peace, because from the policies that we have, when one holds a public office or joins into politics, he has to resign. You understand? But with Sosion, that was not the case. You understand, he was nominated as he was nominated in the national parliament, but he didn't resign as a teacher. You understand? And then as a secretary general of the union, he didn't also resign. So actually, by that, it shows that this person actually does not respect this policy. And you see the TSA has gone further by deregistering him as a teacher. You understand? And now when you are in parliament, you're supposed to there are two parts. We have to say the truth. When you are in parliament, there is that the political part, there are agendas that you have to push in terms of politics. And you see, for him as the Secretary General, he has one agenda of protecting the teachers, defending the teacher. But now when you mix two things that are repelling, you understand, that's where the problem came. Now the government is trying to fight him, the TSA is trying to fight him, even teachers are losing focus with NAT. So this whole confusion is because of Sosion. And I think the moment Sosion is out, it will take a while, but NAT will stand again.
Yes, and we also saw the drama where he was ousted from his office despite being reinstated.
Exactly.
Well, moving on to the corridors of politics in the Star, MPs accuse state of crucifying them for backing Ruto. And this is in relation to the Ndindi Nyoro case, Abdiaziz.
Right now, many of the politicians will have a rough time because of their stand. You know, the government won't, there's that politics of supporting Ruto and that of supporting deputy president. So most of the MPs from central region have a tough time because of supporting Ruto. You know, they are saying they are supporting deputy president and the deputy president. So they are a camp which is called KLWK, which only support the president, not the deputy president. So they are having a lot of rough time because of that. And it's like, you know, like Ndindi Nyoro. And now he's training yesterday, and he's becoming a political, senior political figure in the central region. So whatever they are doing, some of them, it is making them to grow in political arena. So they don't have to maybe fear or anything, but you know the system, when they don't want you, they will frustrate you. Okay. They will frustrate you, they will show you that they will even try to turn your people against you. Because whatever happened in Kiaru, in the residence of Ndindi Nyoro, is in a way of trying to blackmail him. They're telling his people that this guy is not supporting the president, and that they have to start going against him. Okay. So, but the people stand with him because maybe they know what they really like about him, and the voice of the people is the last word. Because if the people want to support the deputy president, that's what the MP stand for. You know. So the moment the MP talk on behalf of his people, and his people want him to support a certain candidate, then that's it. So the system will try to frustrate them, but at the end, the stand will thrive.
Right. Yeah. Trevor, are they right to say that they're being crucified?
Okay, for me, there is that percentage of being right, because at the end of the day, as we say, this is a democracy country. You understand? It's a democratic country. And since it is a democratic country, then each and every person has an opinion. And for this MP with the likes of Ndindi Nyoro, they have shown that they are in solidarity and they are in full support with the deputy president. It is not a crime at all. It is not a crime, and it will never be a crime. But we see now what they are trying to do, like what happened at that fundraising. You see, it was at the home yard of Ndindi Nyoro, but he was not involved in anything whatsoever. You understand? Okay. So that is undermining. Even if, as Lucky Trevor was in the same situation, I think I could have reacted the way Ndindi Nyoro reacted, because you can't come to my home without even involving me in any activity, yet you are in my home. You understand? So I think if they're supporting Ruto, I don't have a problem. If they're supporting Uhuru, the likes of Team Keleweke, the likes of Team Tangatanga, there is no problem. My problem comes the way you are being treated because of supporting somebody else. You understand? There are people out here who are strong supporters of Baba. You understand? There are people out here who are very strong supporters of Uhuru, but that does not mean that you are a criminal. That does not mean you are a leader. It is their solidarity that they are trying to show. So I think it is time that we give each and every person a humble time to express oneself. So for me, I think they are right. They're right.
Okay. Now, these are the thoughts of my panelists here in the studio with me today. What do you at home think? Share with us through our social media platforms, that is Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Horizontv Kenya, and our SMS line at 201 209 201951. Sorry for that. Now, we're going for a short break, but when we come back, we come in with the People Daily, and it says how FECO planned city's 72 million shilling heist. Stay tuned for that. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban. You are watching the Sabah Show. Keep it locked right here on Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Wake up to exciting mornings every day. Active Jumatatu with Muhammad Obura. Tech Tuesday with Yusuf Farah. Wednesday, the special edition Business Chat with Ibtisam Jamal. All about your health on Healthy Thursdays with Mariam Mwacharo. Aisha Khan with thorny pertinent issues every Friday on the Round Table. Fresh discussions, direct probe in Sabah Show, only on Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. On the next episode,
هل يحضر الشيطان عند الموت؟ Shetani kweli huhudhuria wakati wa mtu kufa, mtu katika sakaratul maut. Shetani huhudhuria, faqala na'am. Huyu shekha akasema ndio. Akhiru fursatin lilshaitan lilighwa'i huna. Fursa yake ya mwisho ya shetani kwenye kupotosha ni hapa.
The Messenger of Allah said, whoever says when the morning comes, رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد نبيا, meaning I am pleased with Allah as the Lord and with Islam as a religion and with Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam as a prophet, then I am the guarantor that I will take him by his hand until I put him into Jannah.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban. You are watching the Sabah Show. Keep it locked right here on Horizon TV. Welcome back to the Sabah Show with me, your host Yusuf Farah. We're still in the newspaper review with Trevor and Abdiaziz Boro on set with me today. Before we went for the break, we were discussing the People Daily, and the headline read, "How Fake Cop Plan Cities 72 million shilling heist and police imposter is unmasked as detectives round up more than 10 suspects in investigation that implicates 2 politicians." Abdiaziz, now we're seeing politicians being brought into the 72 million heist. I mean, what does this say of our country?
Yeah, one, this corruption these days in Kenya, it has become another thing. You know, when maybe we are young, you just hear 1 million scandal. Right now you hear billions, you hear hundreds of millions. You wonder what's going on.
It's like we're upgrading.
Yes. And the other thing is, and you see recently you hear a lot of heist. I don't know if the money heist movie is encouraging many people to continue stealing from Kenyans. You know, Kenyans are funny. Anything can encourage them to steal from our people, or anything can encourage them to go a certain way. So what's happening is not good, and it's even very unfortunate that even our police now are getting to this. You know, the corruption thing we knew about the police, that of traffic and other thing. Now if even them they are going for this bigger money, then it's becoming a problem, because they are the same people who are protecting this money, and when they are going that way, then it is very unfortunate. The other thing, we know the politicians are in these things. It is not new when you hear a politician being corrupt or anything. It has been something, it's like a norm for us. So, but we want the agencies which are dealing with the corruption to take action and maybe these things to stop. Because the moment you see 2 heists, there's another one even in the university, the Ma heist.
Yeah.
You see how the professor is doing all these things, just removing money from the account without any documentation. So all these things, they have to follow up, because the moment they leave it, even other universities and other corps will continue doing this, the same thing.
Trevor, Abdiaziz said something interesting. It's like the movie Money Heist is affecting us, and now we all want to become like that. What are your thoughts on this?
Okay, for me, I've watched the movie, and I can't really say that it's the money heist that is encouraging these people, but I'm sure maybe even these police people, they have not watched the movie. But I think it is just our culture, a rotten culture that we have. You see, right now we are glorifying corruption, we are glorifying theft in all means. Right now you won't be surprised getting a bunch of kids discussing, and they're like, stealing is just a normal thing. You see, these cops, they are the laws enforcers, they are the one to provide security. You see, this agency for transporting the likes of GSU, you see, each agency have a police officer facilitating or preventing and protecting that kind of money. But it's so unfortunate that the same police officer who are being used in terms of protecting, they're the same who are now turning against and becoming big thieves. 72 million is not a joke, actually. So, like, I get disappointed every morning, see that now we have shifted from politicians, now you have gone to police officer. Next time we'll hear it's Yusuf, you understand?
The other thing I wanted to add is, maybe, you know, policemen and women are not paid well. Okay. So maybe that also can add up on why they are doing these things. True. Because the moment you can't pay rent, or the house you are staying in is not that comfortable, then you have to look for other means for you to satisfy your family. So it's even urge the government to look at their housing,
the state of living.
Yeah, the state of living, and how their
paying them.
The payment has to be looked into it, because the moment you are not paid well, you also think of other ways of raising money to help your family grow.
Because apart from that test, these same police officers, when they are off duty, they are even participating in clobbering people. Yeah. They're even participating in vices that are even condemned in the society, simply because the state at which they are living. Yeah. Look at their housing, look at their headquarters where they're living. As in, it's so pathetic. To an extent, they'll be convinced in doing so many things that are evil in the society. Yet, they are the people that we believe they can protect us. They are the people that we believe they can provide us security. But at the end of the day, if you are getting a salary of less than 15,000 as a sergeant.
Imagine.
You understand? That is very little. At the same time, they are watching television, they are seeing these politicians, they are having good salaries, but at the end of the day, they are stealing. So they are just saying, like, if I'm getting this little salary, why not try to look for means of getting good life? So
but then,
I think,
are we questioning the character of the people that are in our society, or we're entrusting them with the law?
okay, we are questioning the character in the society, but at the same time, there are factors that are contributing to these vices, you understand? Because at the end of the day, if you are evil, but the society does not give room for you to practice your evil deeds, you understand, you will not get the opportunity to do it. But if the society is encouraging, if the environment is so good for such thing to be practiced, at the end of the day, you will practice, you will be encouraged.
Yeah. Let us also not forget that Islam also encourages us to practice our morals, right, and stay on the correct path, that is Sirat al-Mustaqim. Now, on that note, we're moving to the Business Daily, and the headline reads, "Law gives cabinet powers to cancel or alter census data." This is something very interesting, and I'm going to go over to you, Aziz.
Yeah, one, we know a census has been done, and it's one of the important the project for the government, because the moment they know the numbers of the people in Kenya, they can also plan for it. They can also know on the way of allocating resources for the different counties. And it is important also to know the numbers of the constituency, because some of the constituency, the way we know, not as few people. Hence, even the resource being given has to be looked at. So, and we know, when, the moment you hear that the government say, the moment the constituency has no certain number, like 133,000, it will be removed. So people now use the people who are doing census to hike the numbers, to add the numbers in a wrong way. So the possibility is there for even the government to cancel some counties' census process, because there's a lot of fraud. Everybody, even the leaders, are encouraging those people who are doing census to add the numbers. So then we will not even give the good numbers to the government to work with it. So there will be that fraudsters who are doing that, and it is not right. And maybe the government will intervene and see about it.
But are we saying that we should encourage this act to happen now that we've given the cabinet powers to alter or cancel the
No, we don't have to encourage, because one, whatever, all these things end up to be our culture. We want to see our culture. They want to see our moral values. They want to see our norms as a community in Kenya. Then all these things will have to be done right. But the moment you see our cultures and values now start erasing, then people are doing their things without knowing that there's that factor you have to consider. Because the moment you give people corruption money so that they hike the number for you to sustain your consistency, then it will encourage them to continue to doing that. So, and at the end, you don't get the good number for the government to work on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it at two angles. One, when these enumerators, they were conducting census, as my good friend is saying, there's a possibility that we'll have fake data, you understand? And then the second angle I'm looking at is now the government is trying to implement that so that to prevent the data, what we call false data, so that once there is data that it has been hiked, these senators, they can actually regulate it. But at the same time, I'm looking at it under this angle. What if they're using these senators under this role so that to undermine other counties, to undermine other constituencies in terms of politics in this nature? Because believe you me, once these results are out, that is the time you will face the real music of politics. Because we will hear politicians from various angles, from various constituency. They'll be crying. Some will be saying the data is okay. Some they'll be like, no, this one is not okay. So I think at that particular point, they are trying to to regulate it, but at the same time there is a game that I'm yet to understand, which I'm not sure if it's a good game. But this whole story, I'm sure there is a lot of politics that will come once the results are out.
Okay, now let's move on to Taifa Leo, and the headline reads, Abdulaziz, marufuku siasa kanisani. Askofu wa jimbo la Murang'a aagiza makasisi kufutilia mbali mialiko ya wanasiasa baada ya kisa cha Ndindi Nyoro.
Yeah. One, you know, this issue of church, these leaders will go to church. You know, they are Christian like any other. So they will go to church. And the same church leaders are the one who are giving them a chance to talk. You know, as much as he's saying in that, I have seen also in another page that they are saying they will give them a little time, not as much they usually used to give. You know, the moment you give a politician a platform, they will maximize their time and they will pass their message. So whatever they have to do is to, maybe after prayers, let them give them chance to talk to their constituents.
But this is a house of worship.
Yes. You know, it's a house of worship. Even these people, they know how to put their words. The moment maybe when they say even Bwana Yesu asifiwe, then the next thing when they say is their political message. So they know how to put their nini, but it is not right for them to do politics in church, and they has to be regulated. And this thing has to be in a way of a bill or an amendment to the constitution to just give them direction to the churches and the religious sector, so that they know what to happen in church, rather than just doing, just saying. You know, the moment you say, and other church leader will give this politician a chance.
Okay.
But if there's a regulation to follow, then there's a way of following it up.
For me, there is no reason whatsoever for a bill concerning this. You understand? I envy Muslim a lot. Why? Because they don't have time to tolerate for such nonsense. You understand? As far as say, the church is a house of God, is a house of worship. Then why should we tolerate these politicians coming to the church? They'll say that they will not take part in politics. Let's have an example of Ndindi Nyoro's case. When they started that fundraising, they all started by saying that we will not do politics, we're here to contribute. But look at how it ended. It ended so badly.
True.
At the end of the day, they're tarnishing the whole image of Christianity, the whole image of worship, you understand? Because look at, for example, Muslim, they hold their thing with decorum, they hold their thing with a lot of respect. Even this politician, they cannot even attempt, let alone asking for permission, they cannot even attempt or dare practicing politics in mosque. We have politicians who are Muslim, but have you seen them practicing politics in mosque? Why? Because there is that set. Do we have a bill for that? We don't have a bill for that, but it is something that it is well clear, well outlined. They even know that we cannot dare doing this. So for these church leaders, there is no need for a policy, there is no need for a bill. It is them to stand and say that, you know what, we don't have time for politicians in the house of worship. It is a house of worship. If you have to come, then come, worship, do your things. After the service, then you can address the crowd outside. But you see, these church leaders, why they are welcoming these guys? Because they are after money. I'm sorry to say so for my Christians out there, but these church leaders, they are after money. That's why they cannot chase away these leaders. Why? Because they know when Boru comes to our church, after talking A, B, C, and D, attach a 50 million, you understand? So the whole culture, the whole thing about religion is actually, it doesn't make sense, because these leaders, they're after money. So first, to regulate this thing is the church leaders. First, they should not be after money. Okay. That is one. And then they should maintain the dignity of the house of God, because actually it's so disappointing actually.
Okay, now that statement from Trevor brings us to the end of the headline review. Now we're going into in-depth story review, and we will start with the Daily Nation, page 2, and it reads, iconic house that freedom fighters turned into an office. Now, this is a house that used to house freedom fighters during the colonial periods, and now it has been turned into an office of Aziz. Does it say that we cannot maintain our national monuments? Yeah,
one, it is good to maintain them, because for some of us who come after whatever happened, we want to know the history of Kenya. So the moment it is not preserved and put somewhere, so that those who come after those periods can know what our leaders have done and what they have gone through, and where maybe they have been arrested then. So it is good to preserve it, and it is good to put it in under good structure.
Okay.
by government. So whatever maybe they are doing it, it is wrong. Even maybe they need any officers, they have to bring another structure, not to use where there's a historic background on that building. Yeah.
Trevor?
Okay, concerning this story, it's so sad that this is something that it's huge, and the Mau Mau, the freedom fighters, this was their house that they were conducting. I remember at one particular time in the same house, they summoned the late Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. You understand? So this is a house that actually, for me, it needs respect. But right now, the way it's being used is being used for other purposes. You understand? Recently, we have seen the Tomboya monument. Actually, the way it's being handled. It is under the national government, but I think it's high time now, as my friend said, Boru, it's high time for the national government to look into these monuments, to these houses, because for me, I was not there when my mom were there, you understand? So I need to understand this culture, you understand? Right now, we have so many vices, we have so many stories of corruption, of poor leadership qualities. Why? Because I believe once you go through these stories, once you go through these monuments, you get to know the background about it. Actually, it gives you the moral values, the way these leaders were performing their thing, and actually it gives you the sense of understanding and how everything's supposed to be done. But the moment we lose them, we also lose this culture. And the moment we lose this culture, we'll just do things just by the way our mind is telling us. So I think the government, it's high time that they protect such monuments, such houses, because they represent our culture. They represent our African leadership. They present the whole struggle that we had. But right now, it's being used for other purposes. So this is a clarion call to the government to look into such things.
Okay, you had Trevor right there saying a clarion call to the government to protect our national monuments. On that note, we'll take a break. But when we come back, get this: baby shot dead in routine 50 shilling bribery demand. Stay tuned for that. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban. You are watching the Sabah Show. Keep it locked right here on Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Wake up to exciting mornings every day. Active Jumatatu with Muhammad Obura. Tech Tuesday with Yusuf Farah. Wednesday, the special edition Business Chat with Ibtisam Jamal. All about your health on Healthy Thursdays with Mariam Mwacharo. Aisha Khan with thorny pertinent issues every Friday on the round table. Fresh discussions, direct probe in Sabah Show, only on Horizon TV.
On the next episode,
هل يحضر الشيطان عند الموت؟ Shetani kweli huhudhuria wakati wa mtu kufa, mtu katika sakaratul maut. Shetani huhudhuria, faqala na'am. Huyu Sheikh akasema ndio. Akhiru fursatin lilshaytan lilighwa'i huna. Fursa yake ya mwisho ya shetani kwenye kupotosha ni hapa.
Repel the thought, for if you don't, it becomes an idea. So repel the idea, for if you don't, it will become a desire. So fight against that desire, for if you don't, it will become a determination and a passion. And if you don't repel that, it will become an action. And if you don't replace it with its opposite, it will become a constant habit. So at that point, it will be difficult for you to change it.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban. You are watching the Sabah Show. Keep it locked right here on Horizon TV. Welcome back to Tech Tuesday with me, your host Yusuf Faraway, still in the newspaper review, in the in-depth stories. And before we went on the break, we had this story on Daily Nation, page 6. Baby shot dead in routine 50 shilling bribery demand. It is not known why one of the officials cocked his rifle and aimed at a child who was playing. Abjaziz, now, we've seen police come at people demanding for bribes and everything, but when it goes wrong, does it mean you have to resort to shooting an innocent child?
When, you know, maybe these police, they have been used to getting bribe from these people. But maybe on that day, it never went as usual for them to come and take, then we go. Maybe even the other team retaliated and say maybe they won't give them anything. But the police, the work of the police is to arrest those people who are doing illicit brew, so that this thing won't go on. Because as we have seen, this illicit brew have killed many people and have taken many lives. And some of the people who are maybe having children, their children have even dropped out of school because of their parents being drunkard and having this problem of that illicit brew. So whatever they have done, it is very wrong. And taking a life of innocent child, it is very wrong. So those people maybe who have done that has to be taken to court, and maybe the justice to be found. And the other thing is, you know, this first in central Kenya, you have seen this thing has taken root. It has taken root in a way that even many parents have no they don't know even how their children are growing. They don't know what they are going through because they are in this drug abuse, and they can't even help them. They can't help themselves, and they can't even help their children. Okay. So whatever government has to do, it has to take a serious measure to curb this mess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Page 10 of the Daily Nation, Trevor. Frequent strikes at Moi University taking a big toll on students. Industrial action has seen studies at medical school extended by a year, leading to depression among students.
Actually, this is a very sad story because the moment you're joining campus, you're joining campus with a course that you're sure this is a course that will take 4 years, 6 years, or 5 years. Yeah. But it's so sad when you're supposed to take 4 years, but you end up staying in campus for 6 years, 7 years. Actually, it's so sad. And recently we have so many cases of campus students committing suicide because of depression, and this is one of the contributing factors. Because in campus, like in Moi, if it's not the dawn strike, then it's student strike. You understand? So I think it's high time for Professor Magoha and the lecturers union to look very keenly on this particular issue, because it's so sad. Because at the end of the day, the community is looking at you that at the end of 4-year period, we are waiting for you to be a savior in the community. At the end of 6-year period, for those who are doing medicine, we are waiting for you to be a savior in the community. But and then on the particular issue with HELB, you understand, if your course is for 4 years, HELB, they will facilitate that loan for that period of 4 years. Yeah. So if it's extended by 2 years, then you are on your own. And you will concur with me that most of these students, they normally depend for help for survival. Yeah. You understand? And the period, and the moment that period is over, help, they're not even giving you any more money. Now you can imagine how these students survive, and he's coming from a very humble background. Actually, he depends for that help for paying rent, he's depending for that help for school fees. Now you are overstaying in campus for a very long time. You don't have any means for survival. At the end of the day, this kid will involve himself in these vices. This kid will even get a state of depression. At the end of the day, he'll commit suicide. So actually, it is a topic and a discussion that has to be dealt with a lot of concern, with a lot of sensitivity, because as much as the government and the stakeholders in the education sector, they're not serious about it, but I think it's high time each and every person to be serious concerning it, because it's something that it's killing us as students, comrades.
Okay, speaking of suicide, page 12 of the Daily Nation reads, Understanding Suicide, Warning Signs and Preventive Measures. It says, Kenya is ranked position 114 among the 175 countries with the highest suicide rates.
Yeah.
Abdiaziz.
Yeah, one, even in the university, we have seen many students get into depression because of such a thing, what my friend has said. One, when maybe this strike come in and most of the students has to extend their time in the university, most of them can't sustain themselves. So they even indulge in looking for the sponsors, the way we have said, and even looking for the people who can at least pay these things. And the people who maybe give this student any money, they also have to, you have to give them something in return.
Yeah.
So it is bringing a lot of problem, and maybe after the student has been used, they go through depression, and some of them even hang themselves because whatever they are going through in the university, even some of the parents they are not aware, and maybe they don't even know what the student is going through, because as much as you are going from 4 years to even 7 years, it's only you who knows what you are going through, and because maybe you are staying even outside, you have to pay a rent. So if the moment you don't have all these things, you have to maybe even indulge in selling drugs. You have to indulge in even looking for these sponsors and doing all manners of wrong things to sustain yourself in your school. So maybe whatever is going through depression, as even in universities, we have to start maybe a campaign on how to help those people, to identify them, and maybe see on how to give them help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Away from that story now, let's move on to the Standard, and we'll start with page 3. 6 suspects in 72 million shilling heist tortured by cops. Now it says one civilian was tortured to admit that he was a police officer, but he isn't. Lawyer says. Now Trevor, we're seeing a person who is being tortured to admit in something. Fine, they've committed a crime, but does it mean we have to force them in order to get our case?
Actually, that story, it shows how incompetent and how rotten the system is. You understand? Because this is a serious haste that actually we need to get to the bottom of it. You understand? But it's so sad seeing that an innocent soul being forced admitting something that he has not done. So it shows the incompetence of the judiciary. It shows the incompetence of the police, the investigators. At the end of the day, it means there are so many people are in committee for the deed that they never did. You understand? So it shows, for me, my opinion is that it shows the incompetence of these agencies actually.
All right, on to page 10 now. There's this competency-based curriculum assessment exam starts. Some schools opted to start early due to the complex nature of practical tasks.
Yeah.
Are we ready as a country to begin this?
We have seen the government say they are ready, and they are ready to enroll the program. And for us, maybe from those who are maybe in school and maybe whom we have interacted with some teachers, they are saying maybe some of them even they don't understand the program. So whatever the government has to do is to create more awareness, is to create more know-how on the program and how it's going to impact on the students. So the moment you bring something new, all the stakeholders has to be brought on board so that they know the importance of this and how to, it's like going from analog to digital, maybe. And all the stakeholders has to be involved so that you all understand the importance of going to digital and how it is going to go afterward. Okay. So whatever we are saying to them is to just create more awareness, to indulge in all those people who maybe are interested, so that even the student. And the other thing is, as much as you are bringing a new program, the structure has to be in place. Because the moment you bring the program, there's some structure it needs. And there's some knowledge. These teachers has to be trained so that they have the information to deliver to the students.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trevor, were we ready as a country to start the exams?
For the CBC, I've gone through it. It's a good program, but for now I can say we are not that ready. As much as the government is trying, but we are not ready. And the reason I'm saying that we are not that ready is because for this CBC to be implemented, all stakeholders have to speak with one voice. But at the moment, what you are seeing is that the government is speaking another language, the teachers is the Teacher Service Commission is speaking another language, NAR is speaking another language, because I remember at one particular time, NAT, with the able Secretary General, William Sosion, he was telling the teachers they should not take part in the training of this curriculum, CBC. Now, if this teacher won't take part in the training, how will they execute this program? You understand? Now, at this particular angle, the government is trying to provide that education and basic training for these teachers. But you see, at the other hand, the union is telling their teachers, no, you should not participate. Now, how will this be executed if these two, they are all in the same education sector, but they're speaking different language? So for me, I think for them to be ready and for them to execute this CBC with full power, with full authority, and with full impact, I think they have to speak with one voice. Okay, for it to be successful.
Speak with one voice there from Trevor. Now, one final story before we finish this segment. The Standard features story on page 4 and 5. It says, end of Cash King as traders reject old 1,000 shilling notes. I mean, the time has not yet reached for us to submit our notes, but we're seeing traders already rejecting the 1,000 note. What is it saying about the culture of our country as much as currency is concerned?
One, as much as we want to change our currency, you know, we have seen the central bank doing some awareness in some counties on why they have to change, on why they maybe now that the government has introduced new notes, and why they have to, the people have to embrace. So one, you know, this money, maybe one, they want to curb corruption, because as we know, some leaders or some of our politicians have a lot of money at home, and they do, and this corruption money, so they're just putting at home so that they use one by one. So the moment this currency is changed, then they won't have that chance to utilize them. So the other one is, I know the time is it's not that good, but I know most of the people will manage to change the currency by, I think it's 30th September. So we will wait and see. And the other thing is, you know, in India, this thing is changed. Is it in 1 day or two? And I'm very sure many of the money has been billions of money. Those people who have money at home, they just go for loss. Because that's one way of it also, because it has been a problem in India because of corruption. Many of the leaders, many of those corporate leaders, they are just stealing money, and the only option they had is to change the money without giving them time. So even now, we will wait and see what will going to happen.
Trevor, are the traders right to reject the old 1,000 note, despite the time not being, we've not yet reached the deadline?
Actually, the traders, they are very right, because we have less than 3 weeks to the deadline. Actually, let me correct you, the time is here now to change it, because according to Central Bank of Kenya, even today, if you have the old currency, you can go and change. So for the traders, they are very right, because they are handling a lot of money per day, you understand? So their fear is, what if we keep on accepting this old currency, and then when the deadline reach, I have a lot of money, and then you understand the culture of Kenya, deadline day, they are at the banks queuing, you understand? So you can imagine you have 1 million old currency, and then you are at the bank queuing. So I think for the traders, they are very right. And even in the rural areas, they are also rejecting the old currency. Why? Because they are far away from the banks. So they believe that the moment I keep on accepting this old currency, and then I have less than 3 weeks, this money will go into West, you understand? And it's something that I've worked for it day and night. I've sweat because of it. So I think they're very right. As long as the new currency is there, and the Central Bank of Kenya have said, if you have the old currency, return to the bank, get the new currency. And for the culture of Kenya, you know, they're waiting for the deadline. So when the traders are doing that, actually, they are even assisting the Central Bank of Kenya, helping this issue to be resolved as soon as possible. So they are very right, because they're also looking at their side also.
The other thing is, you know, as Central Bank is saying this, the banks are also still giving the old money. So you wonder how can you now eradicate this thing, because you go to maybe check your money and then the banks give you the old money still. And you hear the deadline is just a few days to go. So it's even a problem for traders to manage to maybe move away from the old money to the new one.
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming. That marks the end of the newspaper review. So thank you, Trevor. Yeah. Thank you, Abdulaziz. Now, you've heard the gentleman saying, change your currency before the time reaches. Now, on that note, we've come to the end of the newspaper review, but don't go too far, because when we come back, Tech Tuesday begins. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban. You are watching the Sabah Show. Keep it locked right here on Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Advice or complaints regarding our programming, contact Horizon TV on 0798 974747 or our live call-in number 0711 707 707, or send us a text message on 21951, or email us at info@horizontv.co.ke.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. On the next episode,
هل يحضر الشيطان عند الموت؟ Shetani kweli huhudhuria wakati wa mtu kufa, mtu katika sakaratul maut. Shetani huhudhuria? Faqala na'am. Huyu Sheikh akasema ndio. Akhiru fursatin lilshaytan lilighwa'i huna. Fursa yake ya mwisho ya shetani kwenye kupotosha ni hapa.
Kiumbe dhaifu lakini jasiri,
alitunukiwa sura nzima,
sura inayompa daraja yake inavyostahiki. Sharti ajigambe.
Naam, na pepo ipo chini ya nyayo zake.
Mpamba nyumba na nyoyo za wapendwa wake.
anayebeba majukumu yake pasina kupinga.
Mtazamaji, je, unamfahamu anayezungumziwa?
Bila ya kusahau hadhi yake na haki zake.
Ungana nami Rahma Swaleh na Sheikh Juma Amir,
tukuelimishe na kukupa mwelekeo katika maisha ya ndoa
kwenye kipindi Dira ya Mwanamke,
kila Jumamosi na Jumapili saa 2 usiku majira ya Afrika Mashariki, ndani ya Horizon TV.
Jambo very simple la mwezi, kila mtu ana lake. Hawa wasema tuelekee huku, wale wasema tuelekee kule. Ammati nas, watu wa katikati hawajui, watu wa kawaida hawajui wafuate lipi. Confusion. Leo ni Ramadhani si Ramadhani, leo ni Idi si Idi, na kadhalika. La sivyo, lazima tuwe na mwelekeo mmoja. Mwenyezi Mungu Subhanahu wa Ta'ala kila siku ametuamrisha katika sala tusome suratul Fatiha, ihdina siratal mustaqim, ewe Mwenyezi Mungu tuongoze njia iliyonyoka. Sasa sisi tunatakana tuelekee njia iliyonyoka. Mbona twenda huku na kule, na kila mmoja ni kiongozi, kila mmoja sema laki, kila mmoja ataka kufuatwa yeye?